It's interesting to get information so much, like, on such a delay. This is what it was like in the 1920s.
Yeah, guys.
You'd ask a question, and the neighborhood newsie would tell you.
When you would live stream in the 1920s.
Yeah, you had to wait for the neighborhood newsie to tell you.
Here comes the theme!
Hello and welcome to the Critical Breakdown, the podcast where we start at the bottom of Rotten Tomatoes and work our way to 100% fresh. I'm Max.
And I'm Scott. Today we're talking The Iron Giant, rated 96% Rotten Tomatoes, and Max's fair choice.
Yes. I picked this one.
Yeah.
And for, obviously, our live audience today are probably...
Let's get everyone from the live audience, give us a little cheer.
Woo! But no, for any, when this episode comes out, any new listeners, we have picked a movie each week since we starting at 0, working our way all the way up, and we've hit the 90s. And since there's so many good movies, we've split it up that we both get a choice as well as the listeners.
Yeah, we're really going to milk this puppy.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, God, man. Why'd you say that?
We're going to have 90s listener choices for the rest of this run here.
Oh, yeah, we got to talk about those because the poll's going to go up.
Yeah, I don't have them on me. Do you?
I'll find a way. Well, why don't you talk about what you've been watching while I pull them up?
Well, before I do that, I'll just mention I picked The Iron Giant because it's a really good animated film, and we have not hit enough animated movies, we felt like.
Yeah.
So I was pretty...
I bemoaned that for quite a while.
Yeah. And I was pretty excited to watch this one because I haven't seen it since it came out, but I remember loving it, and I loved it just as much this time around.
Yeah, I actually saw it for the first time either last year or 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Like it never hit my radar. But I really liked it then, really liked it now. And if I watched it again, I'd probably like it.
Oh,
so that works.
Yeah, so we have, do we have our poll options up?
Yeah, man, we got our poll options, all right? And let me tell you this one's a doozy.
A doozy.
Yeah. We got Argo, yourself. Oh, nice censorship, dude.
Thanks, dude.
Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
I hope that wins because I've been telling you to watch it for like 2 years.
I never saw Close Encounters of the Second Kind.
Oh, that's true.
The Social Network.
Never heard of it.
Yet here we are.
Here we are on Facebook.
And The Fugitive.
Ooh.
Yeah. I think you can very clearly tell which ones I picked and which you picked.
Yeah. What is that supposed to mean?
I mean, I love The Fugitive and The Social Network.
I love The Fugitive too.
But you never heard of The Social Network.
I mean, I've heard of it. It's
we shouldn't fight on... Yeah, just go and pick up my phone. Wow, invasion of privacy. Dang. Argo, Close Encounters, The Social Network, and The Fugitive.
Yeah.
So that's a good mix. What year did Close Encounters come out? And no looking it up.
1979. Let's say 79. Let's say 79.
Yeah, I like that.
Okay.
Walter likes it too. Argo would be interesting because Ben Affleck's had a big fall from grace.
Yeah. Well, he's also like a raging alcoholic who's in rehab. And I guess that's a fall from grace. But
yeah, I guess it was mean of me.
Well, it's just there's a lot of fall from graces right now, and I just want to quantify that his was a little different.
Yeah.
So he's still a little scummy. He's Ben Affleck, but he...
But all the best.
Yeah, he has that addiction to
you and the whole clan.
So
how about The Social Network? I like The Social Network quite a bit.
I've never seen it all the way through. I've only seen portions of it. I really wasn't big on those instant biopics at the time.
Yeah, so, I get that because I don't like those like Peter Berg.
Yeah, and Facebook was like 4 years old when that movie came out. Probably a little bit older, like 5 years old, but still, it was just like, okay. So I watched a bit of it, but I never got into it. But I'd really actually really like watching it now.
Yeah, now that they sold all our privacy. Actually, you shouldn't say this on Facebook Live. They will shut us down.
They will shut us down.
The Fugitive's great, too. I didn't kill my wife.
The Fugitive's really good.
Yeah, it's like the quintessential cat and mouse chase.
Yeah, I think when that movie was like rentable from like Blockbuster Video, I think we watched it 4 times, like back to back almost.
Yeah, that's the right thing to do.
Yeah. It's a good movie.
I'm really fond of that. If I were voting right now, I'd probably vote for... Give me Argo.
Ooh.
Yeah, I haven't seen it in a while. I remember I saw it with my roommates when it came out in college, and we all ate like 100 wing platter right beforehand.
Nice.
Yeah. So my memory of it's probably not that great. It's probably closer to a fever dream.
Just like all the survivors from that incident. Hey guys, if you're watching and you want to do us a favor, just go ahead and share this live feed with your friends and family on your own Facebook feed.
Yeah.
Go ahead and do it.
Yeah. Or not. But please do.
And now's a good time for you to share it.
The nice time with an or not, or the nice thing about an or not, is everything in life is an or not. So you don't ever have to say it.
Hey, Jody, if you're still in the house, there's a poodle barking at my door, and it'd be cool if you somehow got him to stop doing that. Just thought you should know.
Pood break. Also, I don't think we've talked about what we're watching next week. My pick.
Ooh, yeah, what is it?
90%. Catch Me If You Can.
And I think we're going to have a guest.
I think we're going to catch a little guest.
Yeah. Yeah. He's not watching because he doesn't have Facebook.
Nice, dude. Maybe he's on Twitter. I'm pointing at you, phone. No, he's not. I can see the zero.
There. Yeah. None of our Twitter fans are showing up. So,
well, that's okay. But very good.
Walter has been taken care of. Yeah. So that's good to know.
He's a big Catch Me If You Can fan.
If you will.
I also am a Catch Me If You fan.
Yeah.
And that's why I picked it. But what's interesting about that is next week, Survivor's 37th season starts. And our guest, Albert, is also a big Survivor fan.
Ooh.
Yeah. So you're going to get a lot of Survivor, I bet.
I bet.
It depends on when we record it. We should record it after the Wednesday night premiere.
Okay, so I'll schedule our time for Tuesday.
Nice, dude.
Nice.
I think you would like all that conversation.
It'd be interesting.
Yeah.
You guys are good conversationalists, so I really wouldn't mind.
Beautiful. Well, I have been watching Survivor.
Oh yeah.
To get back into
the
spirit.
mood.
Yeah. I'm rewatching Ghost Island, the most recent season, and honestly, it's not the best season. It's a bottom half of the 36 seasons, bottom tier. Then watching another season that I didn't like that much on the first watch, Survivor Fiji, season 14.
Sponsored by Fiji Water?
No, but one of the first challenges was sponsored by Sears Roebuck. Probably just Sears, actually.
Guess they didn't survive.
Wow. I bought my lawnmower from Sears, dude. It doesn't work.
Yeah, that's why.
But the season's a little better than I remembered. So
that's good. That's good.
So that's basically the totality of my thoughts there.
Have you watched anything else?
I've been watching Jack Ryan.
Oh yeah, Jack Ryan.
Not a move, but
a show.
But a tuve.
A tuve.
Yeah. I think I'm ahead of you now because I think you stopped watching it because of other more pressing shows.
Barely, but yeah.
Oh.
Do you want me to talk about my pressing shows?
Well, let's talk Jack Ryan while I brought it up so naturally.
Okay. Yeah. I watched 2 episodes of Jack Ryan. I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah. I'm on the 5th episode.
Yeah. It's good enough to stick with, but it's not like the best show ever made.
Yeah, my biggest problem with it is, and it's funny because I had asked you some questions about the show before having watched it, and my questions are still questions I have. Like, it feels very generic in that none of the characters have very well-defined characterizations, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care about this Jack Ryan, and I don't care about the character from its previous iterations. So far, I have no buy-in with him. Yeah. They've done a pretty good job with the antagonist, but other than that,
I will agree on that. The first 2 episodes I saw, he was very well developed, very interesting.
You get some background there.
Good relationships with him.
Yep.
So, I've only got 2 episodes in myself, so.
Yeah, and it's 8 total episodes, so I will finish the season out, because it's not that long, and give it its fair shake.
Yeah.
But so far, not overly impressed, considering the huge marketing push they've been given this for a year and a half. We've been seeing commercials and trailers.
Yeah, that's true.
So
I did see a random YouTube video popped into my suggestions, and some dude was like, "I'm calling it now. John Krasinski's going to run for president one day," and he is basing all of his assumptions off of him being Jack Ryan, which doesn't really add up because nobody else has run who was Jack Ryan.
Didn't Alec Baldwin have a run there? I'm just kidding.
Yeah, right. He's been presidential, I guess, the last year.
Hey.
But no, so it was a funny video. I laughed at it because I was just like, this guy's basing this off nothing. But,
well, actors do have a pedigree in the White House.
Yeah, it's true.
I'm talking Ronald Reagan.
Crisis actors. Or Ronald Reagan. Yeah, I guess that's true. Said too much. Yeah, but no, I mean, I'll continue watching it.
Fake news.
Basically, when I watch the show, it really makes me want to watch all the movies again.
Yeah. And I haven't seen any of the movies, so.
Well,
I've seen Hunt for Red October. When I saw it, I didn't realize it was a Jack Ryan property. I watched it in a ninth grade physical science class.
Yeah. And your submarine chapter.
Yeah, on the classic subs chapter.
Subs, not dubs.
But what have you been watching? What took over the Jack Ryan role in the Rivera
we started with something, praised by many, which is season 3 of Fargo.
Nice.
And then on Hulu, I noticed a show that I love that's a very goofy TV show called Legend of the Seeker was expiring on Monday.
Oh.
And it's from like 2009 or something. It's made by the Hercules and Xena people. And it's good old fashioned.
I think you told me a little about it.
Yeah, I probably talked about it once before.
Yeah.
I watched season 1 last year at some point, and then season 2 it just has it's expiring. So I was like, I better marathon this and watch it.
Better get this in now.
Yeah. So I've been watching season 2 of that, trying to knock out some, but I don't think I'll get them all done before the deadline.
Yeah. Well, at least you're getting your tastes again.
Yeah, it's true.
Is Fargo season 3 streaming on Hulu as well?
It is. Yeah.
I need to watch it, but I don't have Hulu anymore.
Oh, he's a YouTube Live boy.
Yeah, YouTube TV, not YouTube Live.
I say it different every time. No, but it's good, man. It's a slower start than the last 2 seasons, and it kind of follows more characters. So you're not really sure the strict main character.
Sure.
So it's kind of more fragmented. So I could see why it threw some people off. Where the first season was more kind of just bouncing between.
It's more focused.
Yeah. And then season 2 kind of bounced around between maybe 3 at most, but it was pretty good. But season 3 so far it's enjoyable. I like it. It's
nice. I liked the idea of it before it came out, like with Ewan McGregor playing the twins and stuff.
Yeah.
But
and
I never really got into it, and it didn't get nearly as much praise as the first 2.
A lot of the performances did, but not so much the story, and I think that might be the issue with it.
Speaking of performances, I want to give a little shout out to Matthew. Is it Rhys? RHYS from The Americans?
Yeah.
You find he won the Emmy in the last season for The
Americans yet?
I have not finished the last season.
Me either.
But I heard it was really good.
Yeah, same.
But it always felt like it got snubbed in the Emmy discussion, and I'm glad to see that it finally won one of the big ones.
Yeah, and that's a good show, and he's a good actor.
Yeah.
So I hope they do more.
Speaking further of performances, I recently rewatched the Merriam Walsh Elementary School rendition of the musical Johnny Appleseed, where I played the titular Johnny Appleseed.
It's your biggest role yet.
It is my biggest role yet. I'm sad to say that I don't think I did a good job.
Well,
I was very stiff.
We might live stream that performance and have you do live commentary soon.
Yeah, for the special edition DVD of the Critical Breakdown.
For Critical Breakdown at night. Yeah.
But I did watch it again the other day. Brought back some memories. I've hit that age where I'm no longer embarrassed of it.
Yeah.
So I could throw it on with a friend.
Yeah.
And we laughed a lot. I did have a pretty epic stage dive at one point where my character gets shot. No, I had to do a stage fall.
I thought you just fell mid-performance.
No, I did get hit by the curtain when the curtain closed after Act 1.
This is funnier to me probably because I'm imagining you now in this scenario.
Yeah, no, I'm a wee lad.
I'm imagining you you're a crook captain.
Yeah, it is you're a crook captain hook. Oh,
so this is before you were in Spy Kids, correct?
This was prior to my Spy Kids turn.
Scott, ask me that question again.
Max, what is your idea for our next podcast? Well, this segment is called The 90.
I'm still not sure why we called it that. But
because you have 90 seconds.
Oh, that's right.
To make your pitch. And we're in the 90s. And if we're being honest, our hearts are both still in the decade of the 90s.
True. Hearts and souls.
So for everybody at home, I'm going to start the stopwatch, and Max gets 90 seconds to make his podcast pitch, starting now.
All right. Well, this week for the 90, I'm pitching Max and Scott, take it to the limit. So basically, week by week, we're going to go and find world records that we can try to break. And we will push ourselves to the limit every single week and try to achieve this. We could look at the big picture and see maybe if it's better to do a goal over a couple of weeks or do one goal per week. But if it's like fill the world's biggest bucket up with fish, we have to make a giant bucket and get enough fish to fill it, And we got to try something. Even if we fail, we got to try, because failure is one of the biggest teachers in the world.
Okay.
So I think it'll be good for us to try a bunch of things like this, like maybe chop down a redwood. Just two guys with two axes chopping down a redwood.
I already have questions, but the 90 is yours, so you have 30 more seconds.
We can start with some realistic goals, maybe some marathons and stuff, and get a week to get ready, and then try it, and then afterwards we recap. So our episodes afterwards are us talking about what we learned, what we experienced, and how it changed us for the better or for the worse.
Okay.
And that's Max and Scott, take it to the limit.
And that's the 90. We're going to stop it on exactly.
Oof.
Oh, pretty good.
Yeah.
I have a lot of questions.
Dude, that's how I felt last week.
What is the world record for chopping down a redwood? Like, what
I guess
goal
like time,
are we pursuing?
Time record.
Okay. What do you think the harder part of filling the world's largest bucket with fish is? Do you think it's getting all the fish or making the world's largest bucket?
I think for us it'd be making the bucket.
So once we've made the bucket, why the fish?
I was just pulling, an idea out of my hat there. But basically like finding world records. Like, there's always, in the Guinness Book of World Records, you'll find stuff like...
Some weird ones, yeah.
Yeah, where you could tell it was designed to be an impossible record.
Okay.
The whole point is for us to push ourselves physically and mentally to the limit to get these things done.
And that is where I have the biggest problem as the most anxious person I know.
Yeah.
I'm neurotic. I'm an overthinker.
And see, that's what I'm saying. Each week we'll see, does it get better or worse by doing this?
You also said at one point, we'll run a few marathons.
Yeah,
You're very casual about it.
Well, I mean, we'll obviously probably fail.
Okay, yeah.
But it's about what we learned.
Right.
Like maybe episode 2 would be us running a marathon, and then the second.
We don't want to get right into it.
The second to last episode is us running a marathon, but we've grown.
Yeah, because we made the world's largest bucket full of fish.
Maybe we've helped a mother cow birth her calves.
Okay, in the fastest time?
I don't know, man. We're just taking it to the limit. That's the point.
Okay, so it's not so much a world records thing as it is the extremes of society thing.
We'll start with world records because I think it's a good starting spot.
Yeah, I like the idea of giving birth to of birthing a baby cow, a calf, if you will.
Yeah.
A calf.
A calf.
So, do you remember the name of my podcast from last week? I forgot the name.
Yes, I do remember the name of it, but I had a suggestion. Can I give my suggestion?
Well, what was the real name first?
So Scott's real name was my
podcast's real name.
Farm to Table Toast.
Yeah, Farm to Table Toast.
Yes.
That's right. I love it.
My suggestion, instead of Scott's podcast being named Farm to Table Toast, was we name it Cereal. One story told wheat by wheat.
Yeah. So one of us took the idea more seriously than the others.
I don't know.
But
I think people, when you think of like search terms, they're going to search cereal podcast.
That's true. There's a scheme within that.
Someone Googling Farm to Table probably isn't usually typing podcast afterwards, which might be good for search results. But also stealing that thunder.
We get some good SEO out of that, right? That's one of your terms, dude.
You could.
Nice, dude. So what do you guys like better? Farm to Table Toast?
Well, that never
or
goes
push it to the limit. Take it to the limit. Yeah, we're going to pick the winner at the end. That's what we do.
Have you ever rankings set up yet?
Yeah, the podcast idea power rankings. The Piper.
I'll
get that set up on the site soon.
I like it.
Did I ever tell you my scheme for how to make a lot of money on Spotify?
Yeah, you did. But you should share it with everyone. I think I gave response and you weren't happy with response.
My scheme to make money on Spotify was to write songs where the title of the song was like a typo away from an actual song title. So somebody who might search Africa by Toto, they might get like Sfrica, Sfrica, because the S is right next to the A on the keyboard. Sfrica. So when a result comes up for that, they click on it and we immediately have an ad in there. Yeah. So the song, maybe it vaguely has Africa by Toto's beat, but it's like, this is a Squarespace ad. Buy your website and your domain name right here, all in one place. And then the ad's there before people realize what really happened. We make a ton of money that way.
What I like about this is it assumes no one's using autocorrect.
Mm-hmm.
So I just respect that about it.
You know.
I mean, some people don't.
If I'm driving and picking a song, you know, maybe I shouldn't be doing that, and I don't. But I'm not looking for my autocorrect. I thought autocorrect only worked on like texts. Some people have autocorrect off. Some people don't even have iPhones.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm just saying, man. When I'm sleeping in a Casper mattress from all the Casper mattress ads I sold.
Yeah, I use MailChimp.
Yeah. You know, I'll be a real giant of industry, you know?
That's true.
Much like Mr. Rockefeller and his iron mines. You got to bail me out of this when you can.
Well,
I was a real giant of industry.
Yeah. And
he was a real iron giant.
You are who you choose to be, Scott.
Okay.
And we're podcasters covering the Iron Giant this week.
I thought we were comedians.
Never.
Okay. What's the plot synopsis for the Iron Giant?
A young boy befriends a giant robot from outer space that a paranoid government agent wants to destroy.
Yeah, dude. That's it.
That's it.
It's a super simple synopsis, which is fine because it's a super simple movie in the best way.
Yeah. It's just a simple, you know, boy meets robot story.
Yeah.
But, you know, more than that, it's a story that tells, you know, about personal growth, basically.
It's a lot about, like, I was thinking when I watched this, there's a lot of, like, similar movies in the sense that, like, that movie that just came out, I believe was called Alpha.
Oh, yeah.
It was where I believe Jody Smits-McPhee, is that his name? He plays, like, a caveman who falls and befriends a wolf, and the giant is kind of his wolf. In a way, you know, so it's like that. Okay,
my Twitter feed. Yeah, it's like Alpha. I'm listening.
Yeah, but it's like that's like a trope, and I can't think of the name of what that would be. That whole idea would be, but it's like a story idea you see a lot. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
you kind of get the point I'm getting across.
I'm not sure if there is a name for that trope, though.
Yeah, but it's like, but it is a thing. It's not a foreign thing that I'm rambling about.
It is an actual thing.
Yeah. So
I guess maybe like A Boy and His Dog might be the name of it.
I mean, like that's what
I'm
idea.
thinking. Yeah.
Because the Iron Giant is the dog here.
Yeah.
You know,
dog,
he's a real
hunter.
dog. What's nice about this is there's a lot of talent in it kind of early in their careers. Like, I don't know that Vin Diesel had really been established.
Yeah, he was maybe like Pitch Black, maybe.
Was that out in 1999?
Maybe.
But even that, I don't think, was that a widespread release and everything?
No, it was more like
because like Riddick
cult.
Was when it
Yeah.
got bigger, and that was in the mid 2000s.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you have Jennifer Aniston, the voice cast. She was probably the biggest name at the time. But then Harry Connick Jr. actually might have been too.
I mean, he did come off that Independence Day high.
That, and isn't he a singer as well?
Yeah, I mean, he's a singer. He's done a couple like romantic movies too, I think. So
I find that like a lot of my friends' moms really liked Harry Connick Jr.
Yeah, yeah.
I feel like that's his market.
If you're one of Scott's friends' moms, please write us and let us know what you think about Harry Connick Jr.
Yeah. Christopher McDonald too.
Yeah, you guys might know him as Shooter McGavin from Happy Gilmore.
Yep.
Yeah.
Happy Gilmore. But he has a good voice. And if you were to make this movie today, you could predict the voice cast. Like, I bet Patrick Warburton would be in there somewhere.
Oh yeah, totally.
He's the kind of guy who would do these voices.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
But then I think the biggest talent that's blown up since then is Brad Bird. And we've talked about him quite a bit. This is his first directed film.
This is our second
This
movie?
is our second with him. Yeah,
Yeah.
he did Tomorrowland,
Mm-hmm.
which I don't know that was his... No, it definitely wasn't his first live action, but it was one of his bigger flops. But he's already back in the spotlight with The Incredibles 2, which was fine.
What's interesting is there's quite a bit of overlap with Tomorrowland in design, like style of it, like that retro futurism look to it, and then cynicism versus optimism, and like a kid with a robot learning to grow from that.
Pretty on the nose, Bradley.
Yeah. So obviously he has some tools in the toolbox that he pulls out, but
yeah, and I was reading that there's a scene when the giant's hand is watching TV, it's watching an ad. I believe it was for a cereal in the movie.
Yeah.
And on like the special edition DVD, the ad that they watch is for Tomorrowland, not the movie, but like for the concept of Tomorrowland.
Cool.
And prior to Brad Bird making Tomorrowland, apparently he had some involvement with a Tomorrowland script or just general idea that never fleshed out for a long time.
Yeah.
And if it was something that because he wanted to have the Tomorrowland idea in the movie originally, it came out in 1999, and then the Tomorrowland film came out in 2015, 2016, in that range.
Yeah.
So he'd been working on that for quite a while. Which is cool.
But Tomorrowland itself is from
there's a
the
Disney
World's Fair and Disney working together.
There's a
like
Disney thing,
the ride they go into.
Yeah. But I think I was just saying what I was reading was that there was like a script treatment maybe or something done around Tomorrowland, or that was in the works for a while that Brad Bird wanted to get made.
Yeah.
And then it couldn't. So, but then this in the end, The Iron Giant is based on a novella by Ted Hughes from 1968 called The Iron Man.
Oh.
And even though this came out well before the Iron Man movie, they couldn't call out the Iron Man, obviously.
Yeah. It's interesting in 68 it didn't really matter because wouldn't the character have been around by then?
The Iron Man, like the Marvel
Comic,
Iron Man?
Yeah.
In 1968? I don't know. I have no idea.
I feel like you would have.
Yeah, maybe.
But I don't know.
Yeah. But, and Ted Hughes apparently wrote a lot more. He was a British writer and poet. But the movie and the novella share very little. Like, I think the entire character of, like, Hogarth is just about the only thing that's the same. And then I was reading a lot about sequels that, like, sequels for the movie that were never put into production but were tossed around it. I don't know if they were based on more things that he wrote, but they were going to do, like The Iron Woman as a sequel. Huh. And I was reading, I think there was, like, an Iron Boy and, like, stuff like that. And I have no idea what they'd be about. But
yeah, that's weird.
Yeah.
I can't lie.
You don't have to.
Like, I mean...
You're a real bee.
What?
Well, bees don't lie.
That's true. Another callback there, guys.
You didn't get it at all.
No. I got it once you clarified.
Did you think I was calling you a bitch?
Yeah, I did.
My bad, dude. My bad. I miss animated movies like this.
Yeah, man.
All you
Traditional
see,
looking animation.
We talked about it a little with Beauty and the Beast, but all you see nowadays is computer animation, which they can do some very nice things. I recently watched Coco, and I know you watched and loved Coco, and it's beautiful. It's a stunning film. Moana, the same thing. Stunning. Yeah. But they all kind of blend together in a way. Like, I wouldn't say WALL-E and Coco each have, like, they have elements that are different, but neither has, like, stand out.
Well, I would say...
Like, The Iron Giant is very stylistically different than Beauty and the Beast.
I would say the three you named
are
probably, like, the three most unique ones that pop into my head. Well, three are the most unique ones.
But they, like, I can think of sequences from each of them. But, like, maybe like WALL-E and Big Hero 6.
Yeah.
That would be a better example because they're both, like, robots are kind of core to the theme, and they would blend together. You have a lot of, like, the sterile white walls and the sterile white, like, paneling on Big Hero 6.
Yeah.
Is that the name of the... No. It was, like, Baymax. Yeah. A lot of the same curvature, a lot of the same design in some of the robots. So they kind of blend together, whereas with hand-drawn animation, it's hand-drawn. So it's always going to be unique because literally a human is drawing it.
I mean, and there's some similarities sometimes with things like with the Disney Renaissance. You could definitely tell it's
Same
from
with
an
art
era.
teams are
It's like the
working
same
on 'em,
age kind of, because I mean they took a while. Sometimes there were similar artists dipping over in different projects, but once the same production house over the course of like 10 years or so, you can, if you look at the beginning and the end, it looks a little different. Like if you look at Toy Story, the original one, and Coco, there's a huge, vast difference there. But
a lot of that
Toy
is
Story
technology too.
Good, but yeah, it's the technological change. But even then, with the animation, that's when we saw the CG coming in eventually.
That's true.
So it did
actually,
change
this
it.
movie had CG in it.
Yeah.
The giant itself was computer generated, and that was a challenge for the animators.
They did well blending it.
I had no idea. So.
Because it
did look a little different, but I assume they did kind of like how Beauty and the Beast had those scenes that were pseudo 3D, pseudo like a camera was there. I figured they did some trickery like that movie did.
Yeah.
But regardless, this movie's beautiful, and I wish maybe it's just my nostalgia glasses a little bit, but I wish we'd see hand-drawn animation like this.
Yeah, I mean, I think
more today.
I think the issue has just become like it's so much cheaper to, even with more traditional looking animation, to do it more
computerized.
So you have your
automation of a lot of
TV shows that are animated, like your Simpsons, your Family Guys, your South Parks. All of those have kind of a similar, almost cheap animation feel to them.
Yeah.
And that's easier to do with computers. It's still hard work. I'm not saying it's not, but it's a cheaper feel. It's not a cinematic feel.
Yeah.
The cinematic, more like painted cartoons of our youth. Things like Batman, the animated series, all the Disney cartoons. They just kind of have a more real feeling to them. It's like the same argument of film versus digital. It's hard to notice unless you really can notice it, like if you're trained for it.
Yeah.
But once you see it, you can kind of start picking apart that some digital video just looks cheap compared to film.
Yeah. If it's like not made in the right way.
If it's not shot perfectly.
Like David Fincher always uses digital.
Yeah.
But his movies look great.
He's great. Yeah. And that's
because he's an auteur.
Yeah. And with a talented team, I mean, like Pixar, like we said, their movies have a very unique, good feel to them. So animation, I completely agree with you. Like I do love traditional animation, and
it's just nice to see a mix-up,
Yeah.
Someone splashing some traditional in there. And you know what? I'll give a special shout to a movie that did a little different. Loving Vincent came out in 2017, and it is entirely oil painted.
Oh.
It is about Vincent van Gogh, and a team of like 100 painters painted the whole movie, and it looks awesome.
Yeah,
it's so unique to anything else.
The film print's covered in oil paint, so it's really hard to run through the projector.
Yeah, and the Blu-ray you can only watch once because then the oil all leaks out.
Yeah,
but gosh, is it beautiful?
It's an experience.
Yeah. Regardless, though, this was an experience that most people did not take in the theater.
Ouch.
I know. But
Tell us about
the segue. 70 mil on the budge. I don't know why I said it like that, but that's a hefty budge.
Yeah, it's a big budge.
The domestic gross did not bulge out anywhere though. 23.2 million total domestic. I didn't even find a foreign number, so I don't know if it opened outside of the U.S. But 23 mil total on a 70 million budget. That might be our biggest flop yet, which is very sad because this is an excellent movie.
It is.
But there was marketing misfires all over this thing. I think they weren't 100% sure who to market it towards, if it's a kid's movie or not.
Yeah.
Because like I have a lot of appreciation having only seen it as an adult. Excuse me.
What, this came out in 99?
Came out August 3rd of 1999 against The Sixth Sense. It's another problem. And I don't think anyone saw The Sixth Sense coming like they did. Well, The Sixth Sense won the opening weekend, but
Can I say that was a twist?
Yeah, nice, dude. But I'm just saying, like, when you're planning out that release calendar, you don't see The Sixth Sense by who's M. Night Shyamalan.
Yeah.
And move your movie accordingly. So this was probably just a unfortunate tragedy of the late 90s.
Did you check the whole box office?
I checked the domestic number from boxofficemojo.com, and they did not have a worldwide number.
Well, I was just wondering if you saw all the movies that were in theaters that week.
I wrote down a couple more. The Blair Witch Project, Inspector Gadget, That's all I wrote down.
Was X-Men still in box office then?
No. Well, not that weekend.
Okay.
99? Did X-Men come out in 2000?
Yeah, it might have been 2000.
But it opened at number 9 that weekend, so there was quite a bit else above it. But August 3rd, 1999.
Thank you. I just want to see what else is out there.
I mean,
I trust you, though. I mean, completely. Because I was way off on X-Men just now. Oh, the
Phantom Menace.
Affair. Phantom Menace was still out?
Yeah, that was the 11th week of Phantom Menace.
Yeah.
Or 12th, excuse me.
I mean, Iron Giant did better than it, but yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
No,
Tarzan's in theaters.
There's some big competition there. Between these two, though, the top two, and the third one after that, I get why. So,
and we can say the names of them.
Yeah.
The Blair Witch Project and Runaway Bride.
Yeah. But, you said The Sixth Sense already. I think you did mention Blair Witch, but so you have your horror and your thriller, which is going to draw in huge audiences because those two were sensation events at the time.
For sure.
And then Runaway Bride is for the people who didn't like horror. You'd be like, I'll go see the new Julia Roberts movie.
It's like my girlfriend's going to see Runaway Bride and I'm going to go see the Blair Witch Project and no one's going to see the Iron Giant.
And then there's, your next options down the line are like Deep Blue Sea and Mystery Men. Inspector Gadget. So it's like the Iron Giant gets lost in all that noise, even though it's probably the best, maybe besides The Sixth Sense. Those two are the two best movies on this list.
That's probably the only argument you could make is for The Sixth Sense.
Yeah.
Or Austin Powers' The Spy Who Shagged Me's 9th week.
No comment on that one, but...
Was that the first or the second?
The first one is
International Man of Mystery?
I think so.
Yeah, that's the better one.
Yeah.
But
the first one's the best, yeah.
I didn't like the third one. Gold member.
No,
that one bugged me a lot.
I never got into that character, Fat Bastard. So the sequels never did it for me in any way. But
that wasn't a great character, I would say.
No.
But we're not talking Fat Bastard today.
We're talking Iron Giant.
The only fat bastard we're talking about is made of iron.
Damn. Dude.
And he's 50 feet tall.
Yeah, so the story's pretty simple. Boy meets Iron
by,
Giant. They become fast friends.
Yeah, the Iron Giant just crash lands in the sea.
Yeah.
A ship captain bumps into him, says, I found the lighthouse. 2 eyes.
You know who that captain was?
I didn't write it down, but I recognize it. Emmett Henry.
That was actually Tink Getaway's father. That's how Tink Getaway got into the
what was his father's
business.
name?
Grunk.
Grunk Getaway?
Yeah. Remember that.
Yeah, I'll write that down.
But no, so the story is pretty simple. From there, we see that the kid is, single mother household. Yeah. She owns a giant chateau or cottage or something.
I think it was a farm.
Bungalow. She has a farmhouse on a waitress salary. So she's
doing
a
chateau, a bungalow, and a farm.
Yeah. All on a waitress salary. So.
Well, her husband had passed and was a fighter pilot.
Oh, so she probably has I gotcha.
Yeah, let's not give her too much credit.
She probably has some money in the bank,
Yeah, for sure.
Anyway,
Annie Hughes,
Hogarth here. Yeah. He's a troublemaker. He likes to find pets and then bring nasty animals home. Yeah. I don't think they're nasty, but squirrels.
Squirrels are kind of nasty because of the rabies.
Bit. Anyway, he's a troublemaker.
For sure.
Get into trouble. He finds a giant robot. What would a troublemaker love more than a giant robot?
Well, actually, he didn't seem all that interested in the giant robot.
But he helps him.
But then right afterward, he wants to go home.
Yeah.
And he's like, you stay. I go.
Yeah. I know, right? So basically here we see their friendship develop more. The giant takes a big hit from a train. People have reported seeing the giant. The government agent shows up looking for the giant. We see all these characters.
That's Agent Kent Mansley.
Yeah, that's a good name.
Yeah.
So all the pieces get put into place pretty fast.
Yeah. You've got the agent
really
looking
surprising
for him.
here.
It flies by.
Yeah, but it doesn't feel rushed.
No.
It just feels good.
You get little moments with each character enough to develop them.
Yeah.
Hogarth, you start with he's got the squirrel at the restaurant. Mm-hmm. Then he meets Dean right away.
Yeah, you meet Mom, you meet Hogarth as animals, and you meet Dean.
And Dean's kind of a weirdo, and everyone thinks he's a weirdo, but he's got a good heart because he protects Hogarth and the squirrel as the squirrel's crawling up his leg. Hogarth's like, play it cool or my mom will freak. And so he does.
He could attack, but he'd protect.
Who? The squirrel?
And Dean.
Okay.
Let's keep going.
He could have attacked? Who?
The squirrel.
Yeah.
You're getting lost in the weeds here, Scott.
You've introduced weeds. Then our giant introduced lands in. He's innocent. He doesn't know anything.
Yeah.
He's kind of a copycat because he doesn't know what to do, but he knows he likes hoagie.
And he's hungry for power, but not in the bad way. He literally wants to eat some electricity.
Yeah.
So he does.
Power hungry fat bastard.
And Hogarth saves him. He makes a decision because he sees that the power is like literally about to kill him.
Yeah.
So he pulls down the switch, shuts off the power thing. They leave a ton of evidence.
Oh, yeah.
Then we get a good sequence here where Hogarth and him become friends.
Yeah.
They befriend each other when Hogarth's trying to take a photo of him. That comes to play
he
later.
leaves out some some sheet metal for him to eat.
What I like here is it's a good way to show goodwill on both sides.
Yeah.
And they do it really well. And, a 50-foot robot or however tall he is should be pretty scary. But
yeah, and it's hard to humanize a character like that.
Yeah.
But they, honestly, and this is what most movies do, like Bumblebee is about to do this.
Mm-hmm.
They make their alien robot very dog-like.
Yeah, that's
and
what
so
you
it's
do.
really easy to like and
And
root
that's
for
why
them.
The Boy and His Dog is the best name for the story. Although now you could just say Kid and His Dog, I guess, because Bumblebee's about to blow that up.
Yeah.
But that looks good, and it looks good.
It looks weirdly
because
good.
It's the Iron Giant
It's
in the
very
80s,
much channeling the Iron
live
Giant.
action
Yeah.
with just like some gender swapping, and it works. It's a good story. But like we said, other movies have done
Well,
it. So
we think it'll work.
I'm saying
it
works
looks
in
better
concept.
than Transformers: The Last Night.
Yeah. Which I've actually heard someone describe as having the best portrayal of King Arthur mythos in film in the last 20 years.
I think it's Transformers are the Knights of the Round Table, isn't it?
Yeah, but they're just saying there's a medieval sequence that apparently is better than all the other King Arthur movies of the last 20 years combined.
Not saying much. I've
Exactly.
seen them, and they're bad.
Yeah. So there you go.
Yeah.
But no, so this formula, it works well throughout the whole film. I mean, you have...
It gives you instant buy-in with
Yeah.
both Hogarth and the Giant.
Yeah.
You don't need to do anything else with the Giant, really.
No.
Once you've established his good intentions and that the boy wants to protect him, that's like all the heavy lifting that's needed to be done.
Yeah.
There are fun sequences within it, like when Mansley is looking, and he knows that Hogarth's involved because at the scene of the either train wreck or of the electric, the power plant, at the scene of the crime there, he finds his gun with his name written on it, Hogarth Hughes. He only sees Hog Hug, which I thought was funny.
That is funny.
Because Hogarth is already a very odd name.
Yeah.
Like, I've never met a human named Hogarth.
Yeah, it's unique in that sense because I haven't either.
Yeah. But so you have a fun sequence when they need to protect the Giant so that Mansley's not looking for him, all the government's not looking for him. So they take him over. Dean has like a scrap metal, scrap yard basically, but he's also an artist. He does scrap metal sculptures and stuff.
Yeah.
So they hide the Giant in plain sight essentially by putting some weird signs and knickknacks and stuff over him, and then having Mansley come over and look at it, and they're just like, oh yeah, anyone who said they had a Giant sighting, they just saw my new art.
Mm-hmm.
And that gets the army off of them for a second. But then as they're kind of goofing off at the junkyard, they think everything's fine. Hogarth and the Giant are playing, and Hogarth has like a toy ray gun, and he like points it at the Giant and fires it, and immediately the Giant's eyes like go into lasers focused on Hogarth, like threat assessing. They go into like his point of view.
Yeah.
And Hogarth like falls or ducks or something, and like a huge laser goes over his head, and Dean sees it, but Hogarth doesn't. And then when Hogarth's doing it again, when he fixes his toy ray gun, the Giant is locked on again, and Hogarth sees it, but Dean like saves him there.
So yeah, the gun kicks in this like defense mechanism, and we saw hints of it before with the Hog gun. Just hints. We didn't see the full thing.
But Dean protects him there, and then he shoos the Giant away because like now with this 50-foot Giant, they can easily kill probably everybody here.
Yeah.
Is firing lasers at this kid. So Dean like shoos him away, and the Giant doesn't know what happened. He's very innocent in this regard. He thinks like he truly has no idea what happened, and he literally just like cowers away, runs away into the snow.
He panics. He was a bad dog.
He was a bad dog.
And
bad dog, no bite.
This part's good because Hogarth doesn't want him to go.
Yeah.
So you feel his sympathy, and then the Giant doesn't want to go, but he knows he's a danger, so he takes off. So you feel sympathy for him.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of empathy and sympathy going on in this scene.
Yeah. And then they literally the giant just bumps into the military.
Yeah.
As he's walking away, they're all leaving town. Mansley's getting chewed out because he called in the military to like assess this alien threat, but as it turns out, it was just an art installation. So he's getting chewed out, and then they just bump into him again.
Yeah, yeah. Since they're still in town, I guess they're regrouping before they head off. They were berating Kent Mansley a whole lot. Well, they were. That's what it was. They were taking off out of the town.
Yeah.
And then that's when Kent noticed that the giant was out there causing trouble. He causes the big pile up. Yeah. So then we go back into town, and the military's like, let's blow this guy up.
Yeah.
Like, let's take him down. And they fire every weapon they got on this dude.
Well, not every weapon, yeah.
Well, almost every weapon. That's true. They fire some big guns on the boy, and his auto destruct, like not destruct, but his auto destroy mode.
His
kicks
attack
in.
mode.
Yeah, his attack. And so he, he starts going ham, starts demolishing a lot of stuff, and then at the last second, like Hogarth shows up.
Yeah.
And kind of talks him down finally.
Yeah.
And
he gets control again.
Yeah, he gets control. We see him go from all the weapons sticking out of him to back to normal Iron Giant that we all love.
The innocent dog that we love so.
And so at the same time, Kent Mansley had gotten the general to start a countdown to launch a nuke.
Yeah, getting ready for it.
Yeah.
And then when Hogarth goes out there, I think there was another couple shots fired, and the giant picks Hogarth up to protect him. And then the general is like, well, this threat is fine. Now we're not going to fire the nuke off. Like, you're crazy. And then that's when Mansley tells him, or when the giant has the kid, the general's like, well, we can't fire this nuke. He's got the kid. And then Mansley's like, the kid's dead. Like, you can fire it. We can prep the nuke. And then it was going to blow up in Mansley's face again, I remember. I don't remember the specific details.
Well, what happened is basically the sub guys were waiting for the final command. And when the general is about to say, stand down, like, it's fine, Mansley grabs the radio and was like, oh, fire now.
Fire away.
And so they show it firing, and they show it coming up. And the whole time, the reason we haven't mentioned this is because it's hard to mention without man crying a little bit, is throughout the entire movie, Hogarth has been reading comic books with the giant.
Yeah.
And
to introduce him to, like, the culture and stuff.
Yeah. And so the big pull here is the giant said he didn't want to be like the big evil robot comic that's attacking. He wants to be like Superman. Yeah. I forgot what it's like, Destructo or something like that. But he wants to be Superman. And so this gives the giant his Superman moment, and he gets to he says your line that you said earlier, you stay, I go.
Yep.
And he puts Hogarth down, and then he flies off, and he grabs the nuke and takes off into space. And they keep playing that quote of the kid saying, you are who you choose to be. Yep. And they have it like all soft and emotional sounding, and he says Superman in that Vin Diesel voice and just flies into space and explodes, and we all see him explode. And basically the general is like, Mansley, you're done, dude. Like, you almost blew up an entire New England, sleepy New England town.
After he fired it, he was like, Mansley, you idiot. Like, we don't have time to evacuate. You just killed all of us.
Yeah.
And then Mansley, like, steals a car, and he's like, I'm getting out of here.
Yeah.
But they end up stopping him.
I like that the mom, that
Annie,
that she just was like, her and Dean were like, we can't really do anything.
Yeah.
Like, we're just about, and so they just hugged each other, like with Hogarth.
Yeah. And I like how they began the Dean and Annie relationship with when they were at the scrapyard.
Yeah.
He was just talking, like, he had earlier mentioned, like, no one likes my art. And as they were, like, leaving, she was just like, I really like this piece, and, like, made a couple comments about it. And he was like, really? You like it?
Yeah.
So that was fun.
Yeah, they did it more, like, it was there, it was present, but it wasn't in your face, but it wasn't necessary, and it wouldn't be bad if it was in your face. It was just well done.
Yeah,
basically.
And then after this scene, obviously Hogarth's sad and everything, and then they flash forward some amount of time, and the giant has a statue in Rockwell in the town with Hogarth, like, being hell. I forget what, but Hogarth's in the statue too.
Yeah.
Which I thought it would be weird to, like, live in a town where there was a statue of me as an 8-year-old as Johnny Appleseed.
Well, he got really that's funny. He got really popular.
Yeah.
In the beginning, we saw him getting bullied, And
That's
now
true.
we see him friends with all those kids who were bullies.
That's right.
I mean, it's hard to one-up the kid who has a pet robot and stops a nuke.
Yeah, I mean, he was a celebrity.
If that's not your
He's a local
coolest kid in
celeb.
town after that, like your town's
Some
just
other
messed
kids
up.
are very cool.
yeah. Macaulay Culkin just lives there.
Yeah, that's the coolest kid in town, Macaulay Culkin.
Yeah.
And then in that moment, you see that Annie and Dean are together too. I thought that was really nice,
Yeah, it
and
was
they
sweet.
don't
It
hit
felt
you
real.
over the head with it
Yeah.
because it's not their story; it's Hogarth's story.
You know whose else's story it is?
What's that?
The Iron Giants.
Yeah.
And they do a weird ending that somehow feels good and positive.
Oh,
and
yeah.
it definitely left a lead in for a sequel.
If
that
it
you
had
mentioned.
made more than negative
Yeah.
budget, then
Yeah.
maybe.
But basically, we see
The general sends a
yeah.
gift to
Yeah.
Hogarth,
And it's
the
a-
only piece they recovered from.
it's a
the
screw.
scene.
And we
It's a
saw the
screw.
screw earlier. So this screw, he keeps it by his bedside, and then he sees it illuminate how it did before, and it goes something that starts tapping because before we saw him reassemble himself somewhat.
Yeah.
And so Hogarth is just like, yeah, dude, like, let me let you
Yeah.
out of here.
See
you
ya.
go do your thing, buddy.
Yeah.
And he lets the screw go, and the screw takes off, and we see this cool montage of the
All
pieces
these
coming
parts.
together in
Yeah.
like the Arctic or something.
Yeah.
It was really cool. And
Very
it was
Captain America.
very animated well. It also made me think of Pacific Rim, one that has the robots walking in the snow at the beginning
yeah,
sequence.
yeah.
But anything with snow and robot or snow and hero, like it feels very
Snow on Hero.
yeah, it feels very heroic.
Yeah. And the implication is that the giant is reassembling itself. He's got a smile on his face and
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
He's the hero. He's
It's
Superman.
good, man.
you
It's
know?
when I first saw it, I didn't know how I felt about that ending because it feels like such a
like a
gut punch ending, you know, like a good ending, but you get emotionally gut punched when he goes. But then,
Yeah.
dude, I loved it this time. I was like, that's great. Like, I don't want
sure.
that giant to die. So
Yeah. No, I mean it was fine. And in the end, it is a kids movie, so
yeah,
the giant dying, like I mean it's not like all that bold of a choice because like you see it in like Old Yeller and all that,
Yeah,
like in
yeah.
those other kid and the dog movies.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't mind the giant coming back together. I'd like the Birdman to give this another go.
yeah.
I don't know what they do, but a lot of the things I liked about the movie were along the sides too. Like the whole city was Rockwell, Maine, and
Yeah.
it's stylistically similar to like a Norman Rockwell
Yeah.
painting.
Where
And the setting with 1957, I believe, but Sputnik is a threat. So when people see something in the sky, they say it's Sputnik, and
Yeah.
they show the tutorial for how to get under your desk and stuff like that. So it's like it's not a period piece at all, but those little moments that like anchor you to the time period are
Yeah.
nice.
Well, the Americana of it works
Yeah.
really well, and it feels, you know, it's just a quaint like
It's
setting,
quaint.
and it where Tomorrowland kind of failed on a lot of those things, and it just felt weird to watch a lot of the stuff in Tomorrowland.
Yeah.
The concepts worked really well here, I thought, because in an animated kind of like story that's self-contained, that's not too far-reaching, it's a simple story.
Yeah.
I mean, it all works. I
Yeah.
really don't have complaints with that. I mean, obviously, in the real world, you know, at this time, there's a lot of civil rights inequality going on.
Yeah.
Could that work with this film? Maybe, but it's a different story.
Yeah.
But
I mean, I don't know where you would.
it's inconsequential whether or not that changes this film in any way. The sequel, that could be cool if they did something like that.
Like
a
rights
very-
for the giant.
Well, no, like I mean, because this is during the civil rights era in America, is what I'm saying.
Yeah,
So like,
okay.
if they did Iron Woman, it'd be cool if that was like, you know, set in inner city instead of in quaint, sleepy Maine town.
Okay.
That'd be a cool, different take on it. Is what I'm
Yeah.
saying. But you know, I'm just saying with a cartoon that's in this setting, I think it works fine for what it. For
Yeah.
what it
No, I
is.
thought it was
Yeah.
great.
Americana, like I said, very
Yeah,
much like
yeah.
you know,
No, it
looking
definitely
at that
suits it.
idealized era in a
Yeah.
way. So,
And it makes like the giant an even more foreign concept. Like
yeah.
hiding him is a plot. Like you can hide a 50-foot metallic giant in New York because there's skyscrapers everywhere. Well, no, I mean it would be easier than in a town with like 10 total buildings.
I mean, maybe the
No,
woods
I'm
is
just
where
saying.
that played in. You could have him, you know, hanging out
yeah,
in the woods.
but they didn't.
Yeah,
You know, he had to go hide in the scrapyard.
yeah. I
I'm
wonder.
just saying, like, there's not a lot of sight lines for the giant
that
in
could
New
be
York
an
City.
episode of Take It to the Limit. We could
So,
one
see
of
who
us gets a
hides better?
robot. One of us gets well, we both get robots. One of us goes to the city. One goes to the woods.
No, we do a manhunt special. You will hide in Rockwell, Maine. I will hide in New York City. We will each call in bomb threats against the other.
Okay.
Whoever gets found first loses.
Yeah, you see, I think you're starting to take it to the limit a little bit more than you
My
let on.
secret to winning that, I bury myself alive. I pave over me. I die, but I win. Yeah.
But now I know, so I can find you.
No, you're in Maine. The cops are the ones finding you. We're calling the cops on each other to find the other.
Oh.
It's not me out there hunting for the giant. It's the military.
Well, maybe I'll just get like I'll still be in Maine if I work the docks in Maine.
Yeah.
Like a bustling dockside town.
Yeah.
And I know what you did last summer. Just get on a fish boat.
Okay.
As long as I still stay within the sea, within the area of Maine, I'm fine.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
I win.
I don't think it's foolproof.
I win.
I think the police would have boats.
Yeah, but they have to catch me.
Okay.
If they can.
I'm lost. But the point I think we're both making is that The Iron Giant's a really good movie. And it's 85 minutes, and it flies by.
Yeah, that's shorter than this episode's going to be. Actually,
maybe.
Oh. No, yeah, I really like The Iron Giant. I'm not going to lie. I cried the first time I watched it, and I cried this time, too.
I didn't cry, but it's... I was watching it by myself, and I don't know.
I would cry then.
I just didn't cry, but I still felt emotions.
No, it's fine.
Yeah. The last time I cried was on stage as Johnny Appleseed when my Granny Smith died.
I think we should reenact that. We should have you do a sequel follow-up to it or something.
To Johnny Appleseed?
Yeah.
I was thinking you could do like a really dark Johnny Appleseed. Like
me? Like, is that a race joke?
No, like as a sequel, as in Hollywood.
I got you.
So, like, the Johnny Appleseed sequel could be like, he's like putting razor blades on apples and stuff.
I got the tagline.
Yeah.
One bad apple spoils the bunch.
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
It's good stuff.
It's really good.
So, any final thoughts on Iron Giant?
I've shared the totality of my thoughts.
Yeah.
What about you?
I mean, yeah, I guess we've covered most of my thoughts with it. It's really good. I really enjoyed it.
I think it's on Netflix.
Yeah, we streamed it. I think if you are interested in maybe like screenwriting or anything, this would be a decent script to read.
Sure.
It's very...
It's concise and
simple.
It does a good job without like expository dialogue to still establish the characters and stuff.
Yeah, I mean they skip over like explaining a lot of stuff.
Well, they
in a good way.
They don't need
not
to.
Necessary. Yeah, you don't need to know where the robot came from.
Yeah.
Some movies would give you the robot's backstory for 45 minutes.
The first 10 minutes would be on the robot's planet about why he left. And you'd have like Russell Crowe from Man of Steel there.
And Ayelet Zuyer from
Da Vinci Code.
Da Vinci Code, thank you.
Yeah, dude. Isn't she Jesus in that?
She's Jesus'
descendant.
daughter.
Yeah.
In a way.
We're all Jesus' daughter in a way.
In a way.
And that's our show.
Woo.
No, really, do you have any more thoughts or are we good?
I think we're good.
Let's close it. Let's wrap it.
Let's go ahead and to end the show.
You know what? You kick us off on the wrap.
The wrap. Okay. Our
Max, where can the good people find us?
You can find us eating power stations out in the woods.
Yeah, dude.
Getting energized, ready for the work week to come to an end. Or you can find us on Facebook.com/The Critical Breakdown. We're on Twitter, which we have at least 2 viewers on Twitter right now.
Nice. Pew, pew, pew. Finger guns for my Twitter viewers.
So you can find us there.
Yeah.
Or you can find us on Instagram.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
What about you? Where can they find you?
You can find me teaching my dog about comic books in my bedroom, or you can find me on Twitter at Max Rivera Film.
You can find me going when you stay.
Damn.
Or you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at breakdown_Scott. You can find me on Letterboxd at Stenin2. Take a gander at some of my movie thoughts there.
Yeah, he thinks about movies there, yeah.
Our podcast music is done by Jason Brown. And our podcast art is done by Josh Rivera, live in stream. Yeah. And Walter's the podcast giant.
Yeah, he is. He's Superman.
We're the Podcast Live Boys.
Podcast Live Boys.